Before we get into today's video, I've got 3 things for you. Number 1, if you want to get a notification whenever we post a new video, make sure you ring that bell. Number 2, there's a TCG Player affiliate link in the show notes. After clicking that link, every purchase you make on tcgplayer.com helps support this channel. Number 3, you'll also find a link to our Patreon where you can support us directly. Now, kick back and enjoy the show.
Surprise, jerks! Special! Double! Mitch! Deck premiere! Draw a card! I'm gonna play this island and pass the turn!
I think you started too high with your energy. You don't have anywhere to go from there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a swamp and pass.
Okay, I'll draw a card. I'm going to play a... What is this? Oh, cool. I'm going to play Warped Landscape.
Oh, that's a
I'll
good
pass
card.
the turn.
I like that card.
Okay, I will draw a card. I will play this Flames, and I will play this Renegade map.
Whoa!
Cheating?
I am cheating, I stacked my deck.
I'm gonna draw for Renegade map. I'm gonna play this island and play the card that's gonna kill you all.
Oh,
this
no.
game.
Oh, I thought that was hot
In
soup
fact-
from the art.
Pass.
You're going to give somebody a counter, and then Bill's just going to proliferate all of us to death. That's exactly
That's
how
too
this is
bad.
going to go.
You two.
I'm
And
gonna
himself.
play Swamp and Hedron Crawler and pass.
Hey, I like that card.
Yeah, you mentioned.
I'll draw a card.
Is this your favorite art of any
It is
island?
of any island. I'm going to play this swamp and cast... I'm going to cast Sphere of Suns. Comes into play with 3 counters on it.
And tap.
It does.
And
It
tap.
does.
And I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap and draw. And I will play a mountain.
What's it like to have a perfect mana base?
It's so nice. I will pass.
Untap. Draw for my turn. I'm gonna play an island, and I'm gonna play a Worn Power Stone, and then I'm gonna attack Maddie.
Wow!
Get infected.
Please have 1 infect.
1 infect. How do we even track infect on these sheets?
I'm doing a tally.
Alright.
I will pass the turn.
I'll untap. I'll draw a card. Ooh. I'm going to play the Swamp, and I think what I want to do... I'm going to play... Mine's not so worn, but it is broken. I'm going to play this Fractured Power Stone,
Haha.
and then this Butcher Ghoul.
Ooh.
And,
Everybody's
I
cheating.
have a lot of
Pass.
mana.
To be fair, I drew like 38 cards that game.
Tap. Yeah, Bill drew definitely like
A lot. of
4
cards.
tenths of his deck.
Yeah.
4/10.
4 tenths.
I think it was a lot more than that,
It was like at least half.
considering you drew 36 at the end there. That's pretty good.
I'm going to take a counter off of Sphere of Suns and cast Corpse Augur.
Ooh.
So it's a 4/2, and when it dies, I draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of creature cards in target player's graveyard.
Uh-oh.
And I'll pass the turn.
I would like to sack my Renegade map.
Yeah.
Okay, so off of the Renegade map, I will get a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will start my turn and draw.
Hiya.
Hiya. I would really like to play Feather.
You can.
Well, if she has a planes, she can.
I have a Plains.
Whoa!
Whoa.
I guess
I
you're
didn't see
casting
that one.
Feather then.
Cast Feather.
Must be
And I will
nice.
pass the turn.
All right, so who's dead?
Me.
I'm gonna build this up, and I'm gonna draw.
I feel like she's gonna.
Currently, I am the most dead.
I was gonna say I can't even give anybody more infect, jerks.
Ah!
I'm gonna play this island, and I'm gonna cast my commander, Nezal.
What?
Wow!
Primal
Holy.
Tide.
What?
Wow!
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Sounds good.
I have no maximum hand size,
Untap.
just so you guys know.
Draw a card.
Hey, Elliot,
So,
do you have a maximum hand size right now?
nah.
Okay.
Ask me how many maximum hand sizes I have.
Ask me how maximum I am.
I'm gonna pay
Jerry.
for. I'm gonna cast my own commander.
Well,
Well, just going in order here for Yawgmoth, Thran, Physician, and
Are you going to say Thran Dynamo?
no, I'll pass the turn.
Yawgmoth.
Thran Dynamo.
Draw a card. I'll play Swamp for my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think I'm going to cast my commander, the Scarab God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to attack Madison
Get out of here.
for 4 damage.
So rude.
Corpse auger. Get your corpse augured.
I'm pretty sure this reduces your hand size by 7 when it deals combat damage
Yeah.
to you.
Pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah,
think
that's not how that-
I don't. 36.
And I'll pass the turn.
Jim did say he's pretty sure, not that he's actually
Yeah.
sure. Or that's how it works at all.
This is Jim Gataxius's core auger.
I would like to move to combat.
Can we just zoom in on Elliot's?
Attack Elliot.
Whoa!
No
I'm
effects.
surprised, not me.
I would like to cast Balduvian Rage and give it +2/+0 till end of turn.
How does that feel?
I'd like you to take 5.
Okay. I will
Take
go to
5.
35.
And
5
5
feather.
damage.
I'm also drawing a card off of your Valduvian Rage.
Yeah, that's fine.
Madison
And
will
then I
draw a
would
card
like
if it's soon.
to play my land for the turn and return this plains to my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will go to my end step.
Yep.
And put this back in my hand, and then I need to discard. And I don't really have to worry about flyers, so I'm going to discard this panic.
I'm going to untap.
Upkeep. You draw a card.
I do. Wait.
Oh, I have these slow cantrips.
Balduvian
and
Rage.
Balduvian Rage.
Is it on the upkeep?
Yes.
Oh, it is the upkeep.
slow cantrips.
Slow trip.
Draw for my turn.
That's a good card.
Must be nice.
What's it like having good cards in your deck?
Yeah.
It's great. If only I can win the game with them.
I'm going to play this island.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Elliot.
Hi. I'm going to...
I like your island.
Thanks.
Hey, I like your island.
I'm going to cast Strata Scythe.
What does that do?
Do you name something when it comes into play?
When it comes into play, I'm
It's
going to imprint,
Imprint.
search my library for a land card, exile it, shuffle my library, and then it's equip 3, equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land on the battlefield with the same name as the exiled card.
This is secret
Holy.
Voltron Nezahal.
I
It's
wonder
not a
if he's-
secret.
I wonder if he's going to suit up the Plague Mirror and go for the Infect win. Anyway.
I'm going to imprint an island.
I did not see that
Yeah,
coming
could
at
you
all.
guys imagine? I'm just going to put it over here because it's clunky to have to deal with it
You're
over
clunky.
there.
Oh, got him.
And then I'm going to tap these 3 and suit up this Nezahal
Hey, Bill.
with this Strata Scythe. Attempt to.
I don't know.
What are you looking
got,
at me?
You got action.
I have a Butcher Ghoul.
And a
Do
Hedron
something.
Crawler.
I do have a Hedron Crawler.
Okay. It happens.
Okay, he gets +5/+5.
He does. That's 12/12.
Yeah, I'm going to move to combat. I'm going to attack Maddie for 12.
Madison.
Oh my god.
Go to 24
I-
and 12.
I may
Nezahal
have a
damage.
response.
Sure.
Before damage?
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh, do I want to do this to be like ultra? Nah, I'm not going to do that. Okay,
Wow.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you take 12.
Was Bill going to cast Hatred?
You have 12 Nezahal damage.
Sure do.
Well,
Just so you know.
big, whaley
Big
type
Papa.
boy.
I'm going to pass the turn.
Alright, on tap. Draw. Nice. Play this island, or play this swamp, not island.
Not her.
Then tap 4, and I'm going to cast Sifter of Skulls.
Ooh, that's a good card.
Yeah. Whenever a non-token creature I control dies, I get a 1/1 Eldrazi Scion.
Oh,
I can
that
sack it
works
for a
like-
colorless.
That works like... whenever a non-token creature.
Non-token.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is non-token specifically. I'll pass the turn.
I will untap.
Interesting.
Oh, you know what? This should
actually.
be a 1.
Um,
Sphere Sense.
my Nezahal is actually a 13/13 because it gets for each land on the battlefield. It doesn't say under my control.
Oh, wow.
And James has an island.
I do have an island.
Okay.
So
Revise.
Madison is at 13 commander damage and 23 life.
Okay.
Okay, on my upkeep, Scarab God trigger.
Yeah.
So you each lose 1 life.
I will go to 34. Bill will go to 39. And Maddie will go to 22.
Oh, wait, you don't lose life off that, right?
Nope.
No.
And then I will scry one.
Ooh,
That's one on the bottom.
Ooh, doesn't want it.
Oops, did I knock my dice there?
Doesn't
It's
have
one.
It's one.
Ooh,
And I'll draw a
doesn't
card.
want. Ooh.
Play this swamp. I think I'm just going to pass the turn.
Really?
Do I want to attack? No. I think I want to leave up blockers for this Nezahal, just in case.
It's a big boy. He's gonna play hot soup next turn.
Just gonna play something. Something. I would like to play this plains. How big are your creatures?
2, 4, 4, 3, 1, 1.
Gemini.
This big.
Mine's
Well,
a
not that
13,
big.
13.
Yeah, yours was big.
Yeah, Elliot has the biggest creature.
Rah. He's a dinosaur.
I would like to cast Slaughter the Strong to kill your Nezahal.
Ooh. Chooses any number of creatures he or she controls with power 4 or less, then sacrifices all other creatures.
I have
So-
a response.
Mine survive. You might have to sacrifice your Scarab God if this resolves, but...
No, total. Total power.
Oh, total power.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have a response. Oh, I guess first this triggers and I draw a card for that.
Okay.
And then my response is that I'm going to discard 3 cards to flicker him until the beginning of the next end step.
I'm going to cast Supernatural Stamina targeting my Sifter of Skulls. It gets +2/+0, and then the next time it dies, or this turn when it dies, I get to return it to the battlefield tapped. So I'm just going to do that, and then that will resolve. I'll choose these 2, and then this guy will die,
Okay.
but then he'll come back into play. And then
Okay, hold up. How many creatures do we have in graveyards after
I have
this resolves?
0.
I have...
I have 0.
Okay, I'm choosing to sacrifice potentially the Scarab God.
I think
But-
you
You
can
have to,
only
right?
choose the Scarab
You can't
God
choose-
to sacrifice.
But I'm wondering whether I want to sacrifice both, because it allows me to.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a benefit when it dies.
I have no creatures in graveyard.
Yeah, but once this resolves...
Yep. I'll have no creatures in
Okay,
graveyard.
yeah, then I'll just sacrifice the Scarab God.
Yep.
Okay. And I should probably keep up a blocker this turn.
Why? What?
I'm gonna pass.
Okay.
What?
At the beginning of the next end step, whoop. He returns.
Big
Tapped.
shark.
He is a big shark. Rawr. Untap. Draw. Let's see, shall we? I'm going to cast Inquisitor's Flail.
Oh, I love that card.
What do you do?
It doubles damage
What?
dealt and taken. That card is going to kill us.
Yeah.
I am going to attempt to equip Nezahal Primal Tide with Inquisitor's Flail.
You got it.
Yep.
I would like to cast Engulf the Shore. I would like everybody to return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands I control, which is 5.
Hold up. Go.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably gonna do some stuff here. In response, I'm gonna sacrifice this Butcher Ghoul to give that a -1/-1 counter and draw a card.
You go to 38.
Yeah, I will Undying, put this guy into play, and make an Eldrazi Scion. Yeah, I'll sacrifice the Eldrazi Scion as well to do that, paying a life and drawing a card.
Is it 37?
I'll sacrifice the Butcher Ghoul to do it again.
36.
Draw a card, makes an Eldrazi Scion. Do it again. Draw a card.
35.
1, 2, 3, 4. So I returned. I'll sack this Hedron Crawler
34.
Trigger, make an Eldrazi Scion. Do it again.
33.
And then sack the Sifter of Skulls.
Sure.
32.
And draw a card. And then I have no further effects.
Wait.
Okay. I would like to cast Fact or Fiction.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh. That's pretty good.
I don't know what I'm going to hit. Maddie can make my piles.
Oh, I love Fact or Fiction.
Okay. We got an island. We got a Bone Knitter.
Okay.
We got a Paradox Haze. We got a Terminal Moraine.
Oh, that's a good
What?
card.
And we got a From Under the Floorboards.
Okay. Let's have a look.
You should just give me a bunch of cards because we're both behind Elliot and Bill.
Yeah, I have 8 cards in hand.
I have 2.
Okay. Those are my piles.
Okay. Fact or Fiction resolves.
Okay.
I have no further effects.
Okay,
Alrighty.
I have no effects. So.
The shore shall be engulfed. Swamp.
Is that the sound of the shore being engulfed?
It's like island.
Okay. Yeah, fast turn.
Untap. Draw. Play Swamp. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I can recast this man and also cast a Millikin.
Milliken.
And I have 7 cards in hand, so I will pass the turn.
Okay, on tap. Draw a card. I'm going to play a land for my turn.
Ooh, it's an island.
That is relevant.
Then I'm going to cast From Under the Floorboards. I'm going to make 3 zombies
Yep. And gain 3 life.
and gain 3 life. They are tapped. I'm going to cast Bone Knitter. That's a 1/1. It's got a 2 mana activated ability to regenerate target zombie, and it's also got morph.
Cool.
And you can pass the turn. You can pass the turn.
Well,
Yeah, you
thanks.
I believe.
can. I believe this is offline. Very offline.
The sun has died.
Alright.
It's not
Supernova.
dead.
I'll draw a
It's still
card.
there.
I said
I
the
will
sun.
play- I will recast Feather
Mm-hmm.
for white, white, red.
Don't give it haste.
And
I feel like fully a third of that deck is haste and another
I
third
don't
is
have
double
anything
strike.
to give it haste right
Ooh.
now, which is too bad.
No haste pants. Okay.
Thank.
Oh, that feels so bad. I will pass the turn.
I will untap. I will draw for the turn. I'm going to cast Scourge of Fleets.
Oh no.
When it enters, return each creature my opponent's control with toughness X or less, where X is 5 because I have 5 islands.
It's engulf the shore again!
Engulf the
Engulf the
shore.
other
I never
shore.
get to keep.
I
My
don't
card
have
on
a
the
response
board.
this time.
Pass the turn. This guy costs 7. You guys can't be mad about it.
No, it's totally reasonable.
I can be mad about it.
Shut up.
No, you're not allowed. I'm gonna play a swamp. A swamp. And then I'm gonna play a Pawn of Ulamog.
Ooh.
And then recast Yawgmoth.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 7 cards in hand still, so I will pass.
Okay.
This turns are really easy.
Tap. Draw a card. Play a land. I'm going to cast the Scarab God.
It costs 7.
It does cost 7. And I will pass the turn.
Okay, I would on your end step like to cast this Orum's Thunder and destroy your flail.
Aw. Flail down.
Goodbye, flail. Untap.
The flail is pretty good.
I would like to play Plains. And then I would like to replay Feather from my hand. Again. And I cannot give it haste, so I will pass.
On tap. Draw for my turn. I'm going to attempt to equip my Scourge of Fleets with this Strata Scythe.
That's 8.
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I have
6, 7, 8. Yeah, so
14,
he is
14.
a 14. If only he did double damage, hey? I'm going to move to combat.
Yep.
Bill.
I guess I'll block with this Pawn of Ulamog, and I think I want to draw a card off of it. So in response, I'll sacrifice it to put a -1/-1 counter on Feather, and draw a card.
I would like to God's Willing my Feather.
Oh.
Does that work?
Yeah,
Yes,
protection
it
from
does.
black.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And I would like to scry 1.
Cool. I don't get to draw a card. I still pay a life.
31 for Bill.
And then
I'll
I
keep
get
that
to
on top.
make an Eldrazi spawn, specifically, not a Scion, because he died.
He did.
He did.
Did he ever did?
I'm going to cast Plague Mirror. And then I'm going to pass the turn.
I will return this God's Willing to my hand.
Yes.
That's pretty powerful. Untap. Draw a card. I'm going to play a Swamp. And I think I'm going to try to hold the table hostage, unless Elliot has a counterspell. So for 7, I'm going to cast Butcher of Malakir.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And I will pass the turn.
Okay. On tap.
God's a flyer.
It's a 5/4.
It's a grave pact is what it is.
I'm going to, on my upkeep, each opponent loses 0 life, and I would like to scry 0.
Yes.
Draw a
Okay.
card.
Okay.
Top or bottom?
I'm going to play a swamp, because I'm done with this island business. I'm going to cast Apprentice Necromancer. I'm going to tap an island for that. Island and a swamp. Then I'm going to cast Bone Knitter.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think I'll move to combat.
Yep.
I'm not going to attack anybody. I'm going to pass the turn.
Okay. I'll untap. And draw a card. I would like to play this mountain. And what am I going to cast this game? Or this turn? What am I doing? Help.
What is anybody doing?
What is magic? What is life?
Well, you see,
What is love?
back in 1993, Dr. Richard Garfield.
Oh god. I would like to go to combat and attack Elliot with Feather.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to block?
I have no blockers.
Oh, I would like to cast some spells then.
Probably.
I would like to cast Psychotic Fury to give it double strike till end of turn, draw card.
That's 6.
I would like to save a little bit of mana. 2, 3. Cast this for 3. Give it +3/+0 till end of turn.
Okay, that's 12.
12
Yeah,
damage.
that's all I'm casting.
Okay.
Okay.
Elliot's at 22 with 17 feather damage.
Okay, and so I drew a card from that. I'll draw a card from that later. And then that's the end of my turn. So these will go to my hand. And I don't think I'm at more than 7. Yeah, I'm at 7 cards.
Alrighty.
Neat.
I think you should attack Maddie this turn.
I think
Do you have any effects
probably
in
not do
her
that.
end step? No. Okay. I will untap.
Okay, I will also draw a card.
I will draw for my turn. I will cast Tempest Caller.
Tap all creatures target opponent controls.
Wow.
Does it resolve?
Yeah,
It will target you.
sure.
I will move to combat. I will attack you with this 14/14 Scourge of Fleets.
Sure. I will sacrifice this for a mana in response.
Sure. I will.
Okay.
Yeah, so Great Pact Trigger
Yeah,
on the
Great
stack.
Pact Trigger.
Grave Pact trigger on the stack. I have a response.
Okay.
I would like to activate the Scarab God, targeting Pawn of Ulamog
Sure.
in your graveyard.
In response... no, that's fine.
Okay. I'll make a Pawn of Ulamog, except it's a 4/4.
Do you have any effects to the Great Pact Trigger?
Nope.
Okay, so Great Pact Trigger. I will sacrifice Plague Mirror.
So I am going to sacrifice Bone Knitter That's going to trigger Pawn of Ulamog.
Sure.
You have to sacrifice Feather.
Yeah.
Unless you can make a creature.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, this has a -1/-1 counter.
And
there is another
Bill's-
Butcher of Malakir
Okay,
trigger.
Bill loses a life, right?
Yeah.
So you're at 30?
And I draw a card.
Okay. I would like to... Hang on, let me see what's in my graveyard here. Nothing good? I'm going to sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn.
I will sacrifice the Tempest.
I'm
Core.
going to keep this.
Take 13.
Sure.
Bill goes to 17. I will cast Basalt Monolith.
You got it.
Pass the turn.
Untap. Draw. Play a swamp. And I'm going to cast Milliken. Make me some mana eventually. This is 5. Yeah, for 5. I'll cast Open the Graves. Whenever a non-token creature I control dies, I get to make a 2/2. And I'll pass the turn.
Okay. I will untap. I'm going to trigger the Scarab God. I actually checked this while we were cut. It is errated. It is a zombie wizard and not just a wizard.
Aha.
So
Powerful.
that's going to trigger for 2. So everybody lose 2.
Okay.
2.
Yep, 2 zombies.
20.
That is
This
not
is
a
a zombie
zombie.
in addition to its other types.
Oh!
Elliot's
20.
20, right?
15.
Yeah, Bill's at 15.
20.
You're at 43 still?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm at 20? Okay.
So then I will scry 2. Put that one on the bottom, that one on the top. Draw a card. I'm going to play an island as my land for turn.
Ho, 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 ho.
That's 6, 7,
Islands.
9. I'm going to tap 5. I'm going to cast Aether Gale.
Yep.
I would like to target Stratascythe, Worn Power Stone, Yawgmoth, Open the Graves, Fractured Power Stone, and Milliken.
I guess in response, I'll sacrifice Milliken to put a -1/-1 counter on Apprentice Necromancer, paying a life and drawing a card.
I have a response to that.
You got it. That also triggers Open the Graves, so there's that on the stack too.
Okay, so I'm going to respond to the trigger on Open the Graves. I am going to activate the Scarab God, targeting Butcher of Malakir.
Sure.
Okay. Then I will... so this dies. Oh, sorry, your
Yeah,
trigger
so this,
resolves.
So this trigger resolves. I have a 2/2 zombie.
Yep. Then Apprentice Necromancer
Dies.
Dies.
Gets a -1/-1 counter.
triggers
Dies.
Butcher of Malakir.
I will
myself
sacrifice
at the
Scourge.
4/4.
Sacrifice my zombie.
Okay. Then Aether Gale on the stack.
So it was all my permanents, right?
Yes. Then I will move to combat. I'm going to attack Bill for 9.
Sure. Go to 5.
And I'll pass the turn.
Okay. Untap. Hiya. I will play Command Tower.
I missed a trigger.
Oh. Did you?
Yeah, I missed a Pawn of Ulamog trigger on... Oh, no, it's a token. Non-token creature. Never mind.
No, the Apprentice
the
Necromancer
Apprentice
died.
Necromancer died.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
you-
give me a...
So
You got one.
Okay, that's
Give
there.
that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've cast Feather once from Command Zone this game, is that right?
Yep. And then like a million times from hand.
1, 2, 3, 5. Cast it again.
Yep.
Can't give it haste though, which is it's a shame.
Damn.
That's
It's
like
a
crying,
real shame.
crying shame.
But I would like to cast. Oh, do I want to cast that? Yeah, God's willing. So that I get the scry trigger, I'll give it protection from black till end of turn.
Yep.
And put that on the bottom.
For sure.
And then I will go to my end step and put the God's willing back in my hand.
Okay.
I will untap.
6, 7, and I have 8. I'll discard a planes.
Okay. I will untap. Draw a card. I will play an island. I'm going to recast this Worn Power Stone. And recast this Strata Scythe. If the Strata Scythe enters, I'm going to trigger its imprint. I'm going to imprint another island. And I'm going to pass my turn.
This is my plan. I'm just going to get rid of all the islands in his deck.
That's really okay with me.
Oh, that's actually not terrible right now. Okay, so I can do both. I'm going to recast this Fractured Power Stone. And then I'm going to cast this Abhorrent Overlord.
Ooh, for 2.
For 2, and make 2 Harpies
Okay.
with flying.
They do have
Oh, flying. Those are feather blockers.
This also has flying.
Oh,
It's
Feather
also
blockers.
a 6/6.
It's also a 6/6. There are also eagles under the floorboards, and I will pass the turn.
okay.
Its dashboard is inlaid with the beaks of 1,000 eagles. I will untap. Trigger the Scarab God for 2.
I go to 3.
So we
18.
lose 2 life?
Yes.
So I'm at 18.
18. Then I'll scry 2.
Okay.
No, I'm going to bottom both of them. I'll tell you what that card was after the game. You guys can let me know if it's a mistake.
Sounds good.
I'm going to draw a card. Oh boy, I'm glad I bottomed them.
I'm at 3.
I'm going to cast Loyal Subordinate.
What is that?
I'm at 3.
And it's got Menace and it's got Lieutenant, and at the beginning of combat on my turn, if I control my commander, each opponent loses 3 life.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's too bad.
I'm going to cycle Gem Palm Polluter.
Okay.
When I cycle it, I can have target player lose 1 life for each zombie in play, which at the moment is 3. So I would like to have Madison lose 3 life.
15 for Maddie.
What else we got?
I don't
Hopefully
know.
nothing.
Yeah. Good gravy.
Yeah.
Elliot, do you have any creatures in your graveyard?
Scourge of Fleets, Tempest Caller, and Plague Mirror.
Interesting. So Scourge of Fleets, does that hit all creatures?
Opponent's control, with toughness X or less equal to the islands you control.
X or less?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to activate the Scarab God, grabbing Scourge of Fleets.
Yep.
That's a 4/4. It triggers and bounces Feather
And the Harpies.
and the
And
Hearts.
the
This
Harpies, right?
God's willing doesn't save it, right?
Nope.
No. It does not target.
It does not target.
I would like to cast it anyways for the scry.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like not terrible.
To the bottom. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to move to combat.
Yep.
Each of you will lose 3 life.
I die.
To my hand.
Maddie is at 12. I'm at 15.
That's 12.
The thing that I was hoping for was, oh well, as soon as I die, at least my creatures leave. They are tokens of the
tokens.
creatures. So
Yeah. So I will move to combat.
Okay.
I will swing at Madison for 13.
Okay. I would like to cast Dawn Charm.
What does that do? Prevent
Prevents
damage?
combat damage.
oh, it's fog.
Okay. Sure.
Fog!
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Then I'll pass the turn.
I will return this to my hand. And untap.
Fog.
I never thought that card was going to be that great, but here we are.
Dawn Charm. Jeez.
Dawn Charm saving the day.
Dawn Charm.
Dawn Charm. Fuck!
I'm going to have a really rough time next turn.
You know what that was?
Fog?
A fog!
Daunch.
She cast a fog!
I sure did. I would like to recast Feather.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just dead next turn.
Likely, yes.
Likely, I am just dead.
I think we're kind of all dead, yeah. I think that's the game plan he's going for.
Yep.
I would like to give myself pro blue scry one.
Mm-hmm.
Get on the bottom. Wait, you don't give anything haste, right? Yeah, sure don't. Get on the bottom.
Get it out of here.
You sure don't.
Can I scry with anything else? I would like to cast this targeting feather.
Oh, goodness.
Heart of the cards. Heart of the cards.
Hiya!
Ooh.
Was that wear tear? No, it's insult to injury. She turned it sideways. That's the right information.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's funny.
I shouldn't do that. I'm such a bad Magic player, you guys. Like, I wonder what I drew.
Yeah, because it can't be cut to ribbons, it can't be
Yep.
heaven to earth.
Yeah, no, it's for sure insult to
It's
injury.
insult to injury.
Or wear tear. Could be wear tear, right?
Yeah, it could
It's
be
not sideways, though. Oh, I guess they're
Yeah.
both sideways. Yeah,
Wear
it could be
tear
wear
sideways.
tear.
God, I'm just gonna die.
Yep.
I can't attack you.
Nope. Heart of the cards.
I should have played this other card that lets me scry, and I forgot that I had it in my hand, so I will pass turn.
Okay.
I will untap.
Yeah, I go back to my hand.
Do you have to discard?
No, I have 7 cards in my hand.
Draw.
7 cards in my hand.
I'm gonna play this island. That's the turn.
Okay. I'll untap. Scarab God trigger.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Sounds about
Elliot's at
right.
11.
I go to -4.
Madison is at 8.
Madison is a
Scarab God trigger scry 4.
How did it end up like this?
I don't know, how do we get to this point?
I bet
I
you're
don't know
wondering.
what happened.
Yep, that's me.
Yup, that's me. I'm about to get my teeth kicked in by zombies.
I guess I should
Yeah.
untap my creatures too.
You
Nah,
don't have to.
Don't do
I'll
that.
Just
draw
leave
card.
them, it's fine.
Please don't.
I'm going to cast Carrion Feeder.
Yep,
It can't block.
Correct.
you're right. It's also a sack outlet.
Yeah.
No.
Though he could have sacrificed
I would like to
the...
sacrifice Scourge of Fleets to Carrion Feeder, trigger Butcher of Malakir.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's exiled, right?
Yeah, super exiled.
I thought that was the actual creature. That was part of a much cooler line that I will not be going down.
Trigger Butcher of Malakir.
I would like to draw a card.
Oh, interesting.
I should have just sacrificed this damn Eldrazi spawn.
You can
Maybe
still
I'll
do
stop
that.
this.
I know, but if it was the actual creature, then I could have brought the Scourge of Fleets back and it would have bounced
Oh,
stuff.
that's right.
Even if she had some way of saving the feather, you know.
Fair, fair.
Bounce.
So Carrion Feeder has a counter on it.
It does.
Then, what do we got? Madison at 8. Elliot at 19. I might have just screwed my ability too. So you guys
I'm
are
at
both
11.
going to lose 3. Right, 11. So you guys are both going to lose 3.
I'll be at 8, she'll be at 5. So you can attack me with Pawn and Butcher and her with Scarab God, and we both die.
Yep, that's that.
Are you moving to combat?
Move to combat.
Okay, there's a loyal subordinate trigger on the stack.
Yep.
I would like to cast Breaking Wave as an instant. I would like to simultaneously untap all tapped creatures and tap all untapped creatures.
I just love cards that say simultaneously.
Simultaneously. You'd better do it at the same time.
Okay. Oh. Okay, we did it.
Oh my god, he did it.
Oh my god.
What a maniac.
45-degree angle.
Okay, we did it. I'll just do the Magic Arena tap,
Oof.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, the loyal subordinate trigger still resolves.
Yes, trigger.
I got an 8.
And
Maddie goes
Madison
to 5.
You know what some people might call that? A fog.
It's fog adjacent.
It's been mistaken for a fog at times.
My mother thought it was a fog once.
How many creatures do you have in your graveyard, Elliot?
I have Plagmere and Tempest Caller.
2?
Dose.
Okay. I would like to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got enough to do both.
You certainly do.
I'm going to cast Lifebane Zombie.
Oh.
When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand, and I choose a green or white card from it and exile it.
Uh-oh.
Maddie.
This feels targeted.
Head
You can see it.
in your head. Zombie.
What was that?
So she's got God's Willing,
You can see how many times I misplayed this game now.
Balduvian Rage, Sphere of the Suns, Liberate, a Johnny's Presence, Titan Strength, and Wear Tear.
Okay, we're going to go
Oh,
with
it was Wear Tear.
It was Wear Tear.
God's Willing.
Yeah,
God's Willing down.
Yeah, exile
It is exiled. Oof.
The Sphere of the Suns is really
Technically,
nice.
this Psychotic Fury is in your hand, right?
Because
You cast it on the feather.
Yeah, and then the feather got
yeah.
cast after. So
Then I'm going to cast Corpse Augur. And I will sacrifice it to Carrion Feeder.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to target myself, and it will trigger for 4. So I lose 4 life, go to 39,
Wow, 39.
and I will draw 4 cards.
Must be nice.
I'm going to play Dismal Backwater tapped.
He's going for the perfect finish.
Yeah, really.
And I will pass the turn.
Okay, Maddie, I believe in us.
I don't know what I believe in anymore. I still can't give myself haste. That's so frustrating.
What stuff?
Anything.
the
Wow.
one creature that the deck plays.
Yeah. I will cast Sphere of the Suns.
Oh, nice.
And tapped.
With 3.
Nice. Like you guys didn't see it in my hand when I put it down on the table last turn.
The
Nice.
Sphere of the Suns
Nice.
is really pretty. I mentioned that the first time, and I'll mention it again. It's
in
very
a,
pretty.
It's in a hidden zone. We don't know it's there.
It's not. It's no longer in.
Yeah,
a
it
hidden
is
zone.
in play.
It's in play. It's okay.
That's fine.
It's okay.
So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 now.
Yep.
Mm.
Cast a feather.
Pass a feather, pass the turn.
Past a
Untap.
feather, past a feather.
Yeah.
Pasta
Oh.
feather.
I don't like feather pasta.
How many creatures do you have?
I have one.
Not you.
Oh.
Nice. I'm gonna cast Golem's Eye.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
That's not dependent on creatures.
On the end step, I'm going to sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn to Carrion Feeder.
Wait.
Yep.
Trigger Butcher of Malakir.
Yeah. I can't save it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, feather.
Untap. Trigger Scarebutt.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5.
Yes, it is a zombie.
Uh-oh.
5.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Madison is dead.
I am dead.
Elliot is at 3.
I'm at 3.
Move to combat.
There is a loyal subordinate.
There's a draw step.
Oh yeah, there's
Oh,
a
yeah, draw
draw step.
step. Yeah, okay, draw it.
Okay. Are you moving to combat?
Move to combat.
Okay, there's a loyal subordinate trigger on the stack. I would like to add 7 mana to my mana pool and cast Icy Blast for 6, targeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures. I don't have Ferocious.
Yeah. So it just taps them.
Yeah, it just they
only taps.
they will untap next turn.
Okay,
Okay,
tap.
okay.
Okay.
The loyal subordinate trigger will resolve.
Okay,
Okay, I die.
get ready to go.
Alrighty.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, you know what they say. Combat damage doesn't kill people. Loyal subordinate kills people.
It's true.
Yeah.
Give me these cards back. It's this one
Tell me how to
and
live my life.
Pawn of Ulnog. Those are mine.
Those are bills. That's confirmed. Wowee.
I drew a zombie apocalypse.
What does that card do?
It returns all zombies and destroys all humans.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's the opposite
That's
of
so
Angel
good.
of Glorious Rise.
it is.
Yawgmoth dead.
Yep. Yeah, wow.
That was
Game 2.
That was a wild back-to-back double-header special of the Spike Feeders,
Yeah.
Mitch edition.
Yeah.
And both the games were really different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
They
really
really
different
were.
Those were
interactions.
wild.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interactive magic. And it's, yeah, I don't know. Like, how would you guys upgrade these decks, do you think? Like, Mitch always does a reasonable upgrade section where he's like, okay, this is a card that you could buy that's like not too expensive, but would upgrade the deck, would take it beyond its $25 budget, or what he's doing, $50 budget now.
Yeah.
How would you guys, Elliot, how would you upgrade Nezahal, do you think?
I'm not even too sure. Both games, I had trouble with, like, having cards in hand or keeping Nezahal in play were the two issues, but one of those solves the other one, right? If I keep Nezahal in play, in theory, I get to draw more cards off of more non-creature spells. So maybe something like Darksteel Plate, something...
Swiftfoot Boots.
Yeah, right? Like hexproof things. Yawgmoth was a pretty hefty beating, and so was the Butcher, right? Yeah, like Swiftfoot or Lightning Greaves.
Yeah.
And yeah, like maybe something...
Lightning Greaves kind of tough when you're playing Voltron, though, right?
Yeah, true.
And
It wouldn't be able to wouldn't be able to Rogue's Passage or whatever, and you'd have to have another creature to equip the Shroud thing to be able to equip him and then put it back. That whole shenanigans.
What about, and this is something like way off the wall, what about something like Assault Suit?
Oh, give Nezahal to other people to beat down. Yeah, that's like probably really strong.
It's kind of like that new Tangarth where you're just like, let's get it to do as much damage as possible.
Yeah, he's just like a 7/7, right? Just attacking every turn.
A similar suggestion, Helm of the Host, to make tons of Nezahals.
It's maybe not a super reasonable upgrade, but wow, is it an upgrade?
Is that card super expensive now?
It's not cheap.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's like, what, probably $8-10?
Wow.
I think so,
like that.
yeah.
I mean,
it's more than that.
I think that would bump up maybe the power level of it a lot, because the more Nezahals you make, the more cards you draw off of things.
And you never seem to have a problem with mana, right? You cast Nezahal on like turn 5 a couple times, right?
Yeah.
So, that's kind of
could be cool. As like sort of reach for the stars kind of thing for, at least if you're trying to keep it low budget. I think that would be probably a reasonable addition.
Anything else?
That's all I can really think about.
The deck is sweet. Those creatures that Whelming Wave, when they enter, are actually a beating.
Yeah, they're really good.
I played against what's the Arixmethes deck that was like that, and it just seems like every turn all of your creatures were gone. Yeah. And like that's tough to play against when they're dropping 6/6s and 8/8s.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that it didn't work out the first game because all of Bill's stuff he could just do in response, and Maddie had haste cards to like Bouncing Feather didn't do anything really, right? But typically I can see that being.
What about the Yawgmoth?
I like those cards.
Honestly, I think this deck is really strong as it is.
It is good.
I think the only thing that you could really do to bump it into like the next power bracket is just make it more consistent, like add tutors so that you're getting your Nest of Scarabs and whatever.
So like what tutors would you add?
Well, I mean, I think... I don't think I saw like Beseech the Queen. Beseech the Queen is a really easy card to cast in mono black, so I think that that's reasonable.
Is Diabolic Intent expensive?
I think since it got reprinted, I think it's relatively cheap.
It was reprinted in Battle Bond, so I don't think it's too bad.
I think it's like maybe 10 Canadian.
Because that kind of fits with what you're doing. You make a ton of tokens, right? So it's kind of free. It's basically just a Demonic Tutor in this deck.
Diabolic Intent would be very good. Just any way that you can, because there's no problems with card draw. I had to discard a hand size so many times in both of those games.
I don't know, maybe you should play Reliquary Tower or a Thought Vessel.
Yeah,
Thought Vessel could be good.
Spell book.
What about something like Attrition?
Attrition
that's
could
like
be good.
sack creatures to destroy creatures.
Yeah, that could be good. Because then it's easier than having to sack. Like if I was able to sack my Butcher Ghoul to just straight up destroy something instead of have to sacrifice a bunch of times, then like that would work too.
What about gaining life? Because you never seem to have a problem with paying the life. You seem to have ways to gain it back. But there were some points where when we got rid of those creatures that it might have been kind of tough.
I noticed, and like from the list that I, as I went through it, I noticed that it has like most of the whenever a creature dies, gain a life, like all the Zulaport Cutthroat and whatever.
Blood Artist and Falcon Wrath. And
well, Blood Artist I don't think is in the list, is it? Isn't that expensive?
That actually might be
$3 or $4.
Oh,
yeah, that might be true.
It might have been in the upgraded list if it's not in this one.
Yeah, it's for sure a reasonable upgrade.
I would say
if it's not added.
That would be a reasonable upgrade because that basically directly interacts with your game plan and makes things easier.
Yeah.
Because I was able to pay like 20 life a turn into Yawgmoth and just do crazy stuff.
Whatever you wanted.
But that obviously has a hard cap. Unless you have a way to...
The great part with that deck, though, is that you didn't seem to need a lot of targeted removal because of Yawgmoth's ability. right?
Mhm.
Like you didn't need something like Deathmark or Human Frailty or whatever because like it's just there.
Yeah,
It's on your
he's-
commander.
He's
right?
just a very powerful board presence and
Yeah.
a way to control the game, as long as you have the right amount of things to support him. So
the
I think
Undying
he's-
was super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It runs all of the instant speed whenever this creature dies, return it to play effects.
Yep.
And that, like, along with, Autocrat or other things that make tokens when they come into play. Like, if I was able to have that, the Abhorrent Overlord and do that sort of thing, like, that would just be
Yeah.
the kind of obscene.
Even like actual factual Undying though, just because
Yeah.
of the interaction with
Putting a
getting
minus
rid
one,
of the
minus
+1/+1
one, yes.
counter, that's super
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah, with two Undying creatures, it just goes infinite on
Yeah.
its own. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Scarab
Yeah, how
God
about you?
is a powerful card by itself. I realize now in this previous game, when the Scarab God died the first time,
You put it to the command
I put
zone.
it to the command zone. I should have sent it to the graveyard because I didn't read the rest of the card. I just got super excited about the first 2 paragraphs and realized that it's got another super relevant ability
I'm
that I
not used
didn't
to
take
those
advantage
gods.
of. Neither am I. I've actually never cast the Scarab God before tonight. So, wow. Yeah. In terms of reasonable upgrades, I actually commented. This is how we ended up getting in touch with Mitch the first time. Was I commented with a reasonable upgrade on this specific deck, saying that I would love to play Throne of the God Pharaoh in it.
Ooh, yeah.
Specifically because all of the abilities that put zombies into play usually put them into play tapped. And you can just it's that each opponent loses 1 life for each tapped. So, I mean, those turns where I cast under the floorboards, that's like a free 3 damage.
Yeah.
Right? And on the turns where you're not putting tapped zombies into play, you're just attacking and then they're tapped anyway. So, it's just a clock.
It's a
the
very
card's a
rich
couple
card.
bucks, which is why I don't think it fits in the $25 version, but that would be the absolute first card that I would put in this deck if I was
definitely.
upgrading it. I kind of felt a little naked without counterspells, but that might just be my own personal preference.
Right.
I might have put something in there like Counter Squall or Perplex even. Perplex would have been a good one. And also being able to counter... Which one is the one that... is there one that transmutes?
Yeah, Clutch of the Undercity.
Clutch of the Undercity would have been decent. But yeah, I don't know. Just being able to scry, I felt like I could just dig for whatever I wanted. So
Yeah, the scry ability adds up real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, at 2 per turn, it's good. At 5 per turn, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made the joke about you scryed 2 and then put them on the bottom. And it's how many cards do you have to scry for it to equal drawing a card?
Yeah.
And 5 is so many.
Yeah.
I would say
is
that
a lot.
puts you pretty close.
Yeah, I think 5 is probably 2 cards.
Yeah.
2.5.
And
Who
another
knows?
thing that was relevant with the Scarab God's ability, like Bill mentioned earlier in the game, is that when he died, I got to keep my stuff because it creates token copies and not actually bringing the creatures back. So you don't really have to hold back. Because sometimes, you have those games where you're like, oh, I want to keep you around because I need this creature for another turn or whatever, and then they end up screwing you over. You can just finish it. you
Yeah.
know? So
sure.
I like this deck a lot. I'm going to keep it put together because it's sweet.
Definitely.
But I will be picking up a Throne of the God Pharaoh for it because that card is real good.
Yeah. Well, and so Feather, I think, was okay the first game. It went off really quickly.
Okay.
But that, I mean, we didn't win the game. But it's fast, right? Being able to give it haste and double strike early is really important. But it's really hard to protect Feather sometimes if you don't have the right pieces. And if Feather dies enough times, there's no other creatures in this deck to do anything else, right? So then you're just you lock yourself out of the game a little bit. So I don't know if putting more creatures in the deck is the right play, though. But certain cards, I think maybe even Boros Reckoner could have been okay in this deck. Because there's ways that it just pangs things for damage. And then, I mean, it works well interactively with your own cards.
What about something like, what's the Young Pyromancer? Or because you're casting lots of spells over and
that's
over
true.
and
That
over
card
again,
is
right?
nuts.
There's
There's a new one, too, that does the same thing, isn't there?
Yeah, Seasoned Pyromancer.
Yeah.
No, Seasoned Pyromancer doesn't.
It just
Monastery Mentor is non-creature spells.
Yeah,
Make
Monastery
Monastery
Mentor
Mentor
would do
Yeah,
it.
so more things
For
like
sure.
that.
I feel like
you're trying
Monastery
to just
Mentor
cast
would
your
get...
hand every game,
Yeah.
right? Or every turn.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Monastery Mentor would get out of hand really
Yeah, I
quickly.
think that's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's a lot of money, though, so that's maybe not a reasonable upgrade.
Yeah.
But it is an upgrade.
Yeah.
The
And Swiftfoot Boots is really good in this deck, too. I think in the upgraded version, I don't think it had it, but in the $25 version, it did. So that would have been good in this deck, too.
What did you think about the protection effects? I know there were a couple points where it didn't really help you because they were like mass bounce or board
I was going to say the interaction was awkward with the kind of spells that you want to play to protect Feather, right? You want to give it, target it to give it protection or indestructible or whatever, right? But there was, a lot of
a good amount
bouncing,
of that,
a lot of...
Yeah, and then I just, like, this deck doesn't interact with those things really at all. So...
Yeah, well, so I mean, there was that one that where it exiles it until end of turn. I feel like that's a pretty decent, way to dodge those type of effects. And you still get them back.
There's a handful. I think there's 2 or 3 in the deck.
Yeah.
Like
but then there's no way
type.
really to tutor for those things either.
Yeah.
So if you really needed it in a pinch, like...
Yeah,
It's kind of tough.
I don't know. How do Boros decks get card advantage otherwise, right? Like Land Tech, Scroll Rack, those are both expensive.
Yeah. This Boros deck is like typically you would think better than others at like drawing cards.
But it's not like drawing cards though. It's more like you're not going down cards for casting spells. Like,
right.
Which I guess you're up on cantrips. But it's not really like drawing cards. It's just like holding card advantage, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't really help you if you're looking for a specific spell. Like you were able to cast the same spells over and over again.
Which is great.
That's fine.
Right?
But couldn't
but when you need something
it doesn't
particular,
like increase velocity.
Yeah. You could just play maximize velocity then.
Oh yeah.
But I think I just wanted to mention the card that I thought was the most terrifying in that deck, and I think is like maybe an MVP, is Psychotic Fury. Because it just gives her a double strike and draws a card, and then comes back every turn. I think that card is really, really good in that deck.
That's scary. But I couldn't believe the amount of damage, just raw damage you were putting out with that deck. Like, I mean, obviously, whenever you're playing like single creature Voltron, it's kind of tough because you've got to do a lot of damage. But holy, you did a lot of damage.
A lot, and then late game, it also plays Chandra's Ignition, which is super good.
Oh, yeah.
So
for sure.
But I wish there were a way to tutor it in the deck.
That's red and white's weakness,
for exactly when you need it.
I wonder if you could play something like Infect Equipment.
Grafted Exoskeleton.
Grafted Exoskeleton, right? Because that interacts
good.
positively with Chandra's Ignition too.
Yeah, it does. Oh man.
Yeah. You can do that as a finisher, and then like with Grafted Exoskeleton, like that just kills it. Mind you, it's not like you're really struggling to get 21 commander damage, you know?
Not really. It does make it a bit faster.
Yeah, it does half the clock, essentially.
Yeah. But once you give it double strike, you only have to give it +2/+2 and double strike to put people on a 2-turn clock, right? Or I guess 3+3/+3.
Yeah.
But
there's so many cards that give it +3/+0 and haste, or just +3/+1 and whatever, right? Like Yeah.
So
What about removal?
keep
Did you
playing
feel
it
like
some
the
more.
removal was okay?
There's like no really targeted removal. I mean, there's like Swords to Plowshares and Path to Exile would be great in this deck.
Yeah.
So
And those aren't super. Those get reprinted fairly often. So
because it's playing like Urza's Ruinous Blast, but that's only fine when you have Feather in play, and then you have to dump all of your mana into it.
Yeah. I really like the card Fell the Mighty. It's a 5-mana board wipe, but it's targeted, so you get it back.
Yeah.
It targets Feather, and it destroys all creatures greater than its power.
Yeah.
So it's not like a pure board wipe, but it gets rid of
but it's very helpful.
most
Gets rid
of
of
the
big
stuff it
things.
needs. But being able to get it back and recur it is powerful.
Cast it every turn forever.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
Alrighty.
These decks are great.
Yeah, fun couple of games.
Holy. So yeah, I guess we'll call it there, and we will be back next week.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Spike Feeders on YouTube. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you click the subscribe button, and you can click this link to check out our other great videos.